guys, I hope you're all having a marvelous March 10th, smack between the 4th and Pi Day, so what a marvelous time to live. This is actually a little bit different than what I usually do. Usually I put up games of myself, replays that I've wanted to analyze, or games of other people laddering that I've just thought were interesting, but this is actually sort of a tutorial video on the very most fundamental things about scouting. Now, first thing I feel like I should mention, and I know I'm queuing up too many probes here, but this is something that a lot of people do wrong with terrible consequences. I've seen several replays in the last couple days where it's been sort of a, if only he had scouted he would have won because he would have been able to defend that easily, but instead the person loses to an 8 pool, a 4 gate, a cannon rush, a proxy barracks, any cheesy thing that you can think of. Scouting early in the game really helps to make sure that you don't lose to silly, annoying things right off the bat. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, and I know this will damage my credibility because it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with scouting, is hotkeying. This Nexus is an important building to me. This is my base. This right now is my only base. It's how I make probes. I need this base. So I want to hotkey this building so that I can keep making probes, keep focusing on this area. So I'm going to push Control and 5. That means that my Nexus is now hotkeyed as 5. You can see it show up here. And a lot of you probably already know how to hotkey things, but it really does help. This means that I can be selecting these probes for whatever reason. Look, they're selected. Look, I'm doing things with the probes, kind of. If I want to suddenly select my Nexus, all I have to do is press 5 once. Similarly, if I want to move the camera over here, look at this wonderful looking expansion location, think about, maybe I should consider building another Nexus here, and then quickly focus back on something happening at my base, I can simply press 5 twice quickly, and it'll focus me right back here. The next thing I want to talk about is queuing up commands. Queuing up commands is going to gain me a little bit of credibility back because it actually seems like something that is related to scouting. Queuing up commands is not just for scouting, though. It makes everything in the world ever easier. It allows me to have a worker perform an action sequentially, or really any unit perform an action sequentially. I'll take this probe as an example. I can have him say, build a gateway, and then I'll have him build a gateway, build a Vespene geyser, and then I'll have him move back to mine minerals. So, build a gateway, build my assimilator on the Vespene geyser, and move back. And you'll see how he does that, and I can now do other things. I can make another probe. I can click on this probe and have him run back here and here. It doesn't matter. But now I can have them do things in succession. The next thing I want to talk about is the patrol command, and this is completely and totally underused. You're going to do exactly what you do to queue up actions, which is to press shift and then press the move commands of your choice. But you're going to press P when you press shift. So it's sort of shift, P, and then click where you want to go. So I've pressed shift and P, and now you'll note that the lines are blue. So he's going to perform these actions sequentially, just as he did before. What a good little probe. I'm going to have him run all the way around, because why not? There's only a limited number of commands you can queue up, and patrol has a smaller number, so I've reached that limit. But you'll see that when he gets to the last point, he just turns right back around and runs back. So he's going to keep tracing this path back and forth. Now, just as a note, as long as I have it on screen, Protoss can be scouted until about the time they get their first stalker, at least if you're playing Protoss. Because you'll see what happens is they just do shield damage. This earlier damage to the actual hit points of the probe was done when I wasn't paying attention and it was sitting still, but if you have it queued up and running around, the shields regenerate, and then when the zealot hits it, it simply won't be able to do enough damage to actually get into the hit points of the probe, and the probe will just live. So here you see the zealot still chasing it. Every now and again it'll hit it, it'll do damage to the shields, and then the probe will run faster and be fine. I see that he's making something here. He has a cyber core. It's a good chance that this is a stalker. So now I can go ahead, send him right back home to be with his other probe friends. Having gotten a very good look of the base, I know exactly where the pylons are, so if you're Terran and you're scouting Protoss, you can get a really great scan if you know where the pylons are. I've seen about how many workers he has. I see he has double gas, only one gateway, no forge, so I don't expect a cannon rush, certainly not at this point in the game, but if I walked in there with my probe and I saw nothing but a pylon and a forge, I'd start checking my base for proxies, because I'd be expecting a cannon rush. If I saw one pylon surrounded by 4 gateways, I'd go, oh no, cancel my expansions, make sure to get a bunch of units, focus on that. And then once you can repel things like that, you'll be in a much stronger position than the other player as soon as that's repelled, because he'll have spent a lot of resources and time in that, and it failed, so now you're ahead technologically, economically, and they have to start building up and focus on a new strategy. So really, scouting, awesome for helping out and making sure that you can see all of those awful cheesy things that annoy everyone coming. Hotkeying things means that if you have a probe out and about, you're watching him run around, you're looking at things here, you can just press to select your nexus or whatever building you have and continue building probes while you're watching what's happening here. Or similarly, if you are watching your probe and something happens at your nexus, you can hop right back to it quickly. So it lets you switch your focus very quickly. Queuing up commands makes building things as well as scouting much easier, especially if you want to just perform an action once. And patrolling is really great if you just want to sort of have your probe run around somewhere and then just kind of forget about him for a while and macro and do all the good stuff that you know you should do, but maybe don't have the time to do if you're busy clicking a probe around and having it run around the base all the time. So hopefully this helps you guys with your scouting technique, and good luck out there.